Tonight, two former Spokane City employees are under fire after a state audit found apparent conflicts of interest in the way two city contracts were awarded.
Today, the suspect in the murder of a North Spokane mother appeared in court. We'll bring you the new details released this afternoon.
Although the winds have calmed down today and we got sunny skies, I'm tracking quite a few rain chances for the back half of this week and for the upcoming weekend.
Never seen a tree in a pool. We're taking trees down around pools, but this will be the first in the pool tree.
Well, last night a powerful windstorm knocked out power to thousands of people all across the inland Northwest. We'll show you some of the cleanup today. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 6 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Welcome everyone, I'm Whitney Ward. We want to get you straight to some breaking news at this hour. Just a few moments ago, the board for the Coeur d'Alene School District has made a big decision regarding mask policy. Right now, masks are required in Coeur d'Alene schools, but some board members felt it was time to change that. And just a few moments ago, by a 3-2 vote, the board elected to change the district's policy from masks required to masks strongly recommended. The two members who voted against worried that it could not only cause this change that would cause the COVID to spread, but cause students who get exposed to miss school during the quarantine. And they're especially concerned about high school seniors missing big events as their final year comes to a close. Some of the members who voted for the motion said they still really do strongly urge students to do their part and wear masks. This takes effect this Wednesday and so far only applies to students. The board is still discussing options when it comes to staff masking and figuring out how the district should respond to any outbreaks. Also tonight, Spokane nonprofits are disputing a state audit report that claims conflicts of interest in warming center contracts. Mayor Nadine Woodward called for the audit into the city's Department of Community, Housing and Human Services. It covered January through December of 2019. Ian Smay with our KREM 2 investigative team joins us live from the newsroom tonight to explain the claims in that report. Ian?
Yeah, Mark, there were a lot of findings to sift through in the state auditor's office report. The four main areas of concern for the state included awarding of agreements with community groups, conflicts of interest, how the city gifted public funds, and city policies.
These findings are serious, and we have already begun taking steps to improve policies, procedures, training, and practices. We will also report back on progress to the state auditor at regular intervals.
The audit claims the city failed to resolve conflicts of interest in two warming center contracts. The auditor's office found that former city council president Ben Stuckert was involved in awarding Jules Helping Hands a warming center contract in November 2019. Jules was identified as a high-risk contract because of its vague partnership with the Smith Barbieri Progressive Fund. A founder of that fund has also donated to Stuckert's mayoral campaign. City law states that Stuckert should have disclosed this potential conflict of interest. Now, the other conflict of interest arose from the departure of Department Director Kelly Keenan. Keenan was involved in awarding a contract just short of $500,000 for a warming center with Catholic Charities of Spokane. The problem? Keenan had left his post with the city in October 2019 and was hired by Catholic Charities a few months later. However, the report did note that Keenan had left his city job before the contract was awarded to Catholic Charities in November. Current City Council President Brian Bagg said in a press conference today that the report showed a lack of financial controls.
But what it did identify is that we were lacking in financial controls in several areas, and the city's committed to getting those controls in place because you not only want to get it right when you're doing procurement and awarding contracts, but you want the appearance to look right as well so that people have confidence.
Now, one more thing to note is that the state auditor's office simply investigates issues and reports its findings. The office does not have the power to discipline anyone in any way. Back to you.
All right, Ian, thank you very much. Also tonight, Catholic Charities sent us this response to today's auditor's report. They said the city of Spokane approached them in 2019 to operate a low-barrier emergency center for families who were experiencing homelessness. The charity says Kelly Keenan, who then worked for the city and now works for Catholic Charities, was not involved in negotiations or approval of the contract. They also say that none of the current senior leaders for their organization were ever contacted by the city or the state for this audit, and they're now encouraging the state auditor's office and the city of Spokane to revisit these concerns and correct any inaccuracies. I also spoke with Ben Stuckert this afternoon. He too says that he was never contacted by anyone regarding this audit report, and he tells me there was no conflict of interest and that no one from the agency ever donated to his campaign. Here's what he told me just a short time ago.
So your position is
because Smith Barbieri didn't make a contribution to your campaign, that there is no conflict of interest, that the conflict only would have occurred if the donation had come from Jules Helping Hands.
Right. Jules Helping Hands is who the city contracted with, and I was on the RFP committee. Now, if Jules Helping Hands had donated money to my campaign, I shouldn't have been voting on a contract with them. But neither Julie Garcia nor Jason Green, who are the founders of Jules Helping Hands. So you can't say that everybody that donates to a nonprofit means you can't vote on a contract with that nonprofit. That would make every single contract we have a conflict of interest.
And he, too, also says that state and city leaders need to go back and correct these inaccuracies immediately. We do have more information on this story. Just go to krem.com. And, of course, we'll continue to follow any developments in this story.
There were two other significant findings in that state report. There was no documentation that the city had a fair bidding process for contracts for flooring repairs. Those contracts were more than $11,000 and $13,000. There was also a gift of public funds for a consulting agency employee. The department paid for 2 mortgage payments and 1 car payment. Employees say a department director approved those payments, adding up to more than $2,400.
All right, let's turn our attention outside. Thomas Patrick is standing out there in the warm, beautiful sunshine. And I know that, Thomas, you talked about a slight breeze out there earlier today, but certainly better than it was at this time yesterday.
Yeah, that it was. And that breeze did bring in the cooler weather. And, you know, it kind of looks worse than it is, according to this map. It is 20 degrees colder right now than it was 24 hours ago, but hard to compare, especially when it was in the 70s for both Saturday and Sunday. But temperature-wise, mid-50s is okay. A little bit of breeze, a little bit of an easterly breeze that I'm feeling from my right side. The sunshine kind of offsetting that from the left side. So kind of a weird mix between the cooler breeze, but still the warm sunshine. Our winds are still going to be about 10 miles per hour, give or take, through the evening hours and into tomorrow. But it's going to be a cold start to tomorrow morning. I think a lot of areas are going to be down into the 30s with freeze warnings in southern Washington. We won't see those alerts yet because it's not technically the growing season yet. Still just a pinch too early for that. Yes, the trees are starting to bud. Probably shouldn't plant your gardens just yet. Again, low to mid 30s. Some areas might actually get a frost or a freeze for tonight, but warmer days to come. Also rainier days to come as well. I'll show you what days to expect some rain, which might help some of the trees that did just bloom in just a few minutes here.
Sounds good, Thomas. Thank you very much. Well, that powerful windstorm knocked out power to thousands of people across the inland Northwest last night. Trees, branches, and power poles came down all across the region. One of the hardest hit areas yet again, Spokane South Hill. One woman who just bought a boat on Saturday woke up to a frightening sight. Last night, a tree fell in the street and came close to ruining her new purchase.
And about 9:30, apparently, this tree came down, and I didn't hear it come down, so I got up this morning and looked outside, and from the window you could see the tree and you could see the boat, and they looked real close, and they were real close. They were about this far apart.
Well, further up on the South Hill near 30th and Regal, the owner of Senior Froggies wasn't so lucky. The wind brought down his sign. He said he didn't know until he got a call this morning.
Well, I woke up this morning, got a phone call and says, "Are you aware that your sign blew down?" So I jumped in the shower and I came up here as soon as I could, and I'm trying to salvage what I can and rebuild it.
I like his t-shirt, by the way. Also on the South Hill, not something you see every day. One woman woke up to a tree in her swimming pool. She tells us they had just used the pool for the first time on Saturday, and then this morning her neighbors told her they heard a tree come down at around 10 p.m. last night. Luckily, nobody hurt in either of those incidents.
At its peak, about 40,000 people lost power last night after those winds whipped through the inland Northwest. Crews, though, have been working around the clock to restore power to everyone. So we want to give you a quick update now on the latest outages in our area. Taking a look, Vista reporting just about 200 outages in Spokane and Spokane Valley. Inland Power reporting less or more than 1,000 outages, still most in Spokane County.
Well, starting today, all American